Spencer, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jim. Good afternoon, Simon. How are you both doing? Simon,
all right, Spence.
what are you
all
actually up to there, mate?
I'm in the war, Spence. I mean, plasters on my feet is not as bad as having as much Imodium as I have. I couldn't get American Express cards within cheeks of my backside at the moment.
Putting your foot in my face as soon as I started the show was not what I expected, but anyway.
Can I just bring up, for all those who are watching on YouTube and those who are baffled listening on talkSPORT, Simon Jordan is the only individual that you would end up broadcasting with who decides to treat his blisters on his foot during the show itself. And goes into his cute little bag and brings out some Elastoplast and then sets about it. Off comes the shoe, expensive, I would grant you. Off comes the sock, expensive, I would grant you. And the bare foot is there for all to see. And unfortunately, Spencer is right beside it.
Spencer should be the one actually putting the plaster on, in my view.
Jim, that was not a very pleasant sight, let me tell you. And I know where those blisters have come from. Oh, my God, it's come up my...
Dear me.
Please, stop.
Oh, dear.
So this blister, was this from playing Josh Kelly at paddle?
Please.
When
Josh Kelly was on my team.
I believe he kicked your backside. No, it was Adam Booth, sorry.
I gave Adam a little bone.
Josh Kelly, who fights this weekend, and we shall be speaking to his trainer later this hour. Looking forward to Adam Booth, who also plays paddle tennis, does he not? Or he goes to
he goes to paddle lessons, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Right, Simon's just tying up the shoes, tying up the laces on his shoe, and we will carry on broadcasting the small matter of being live on talkSPORT and live on YouTube, even Prime Video, wherever you want to watch us, we're here for you on this very show. Spencer, good to have a sense of reason to carry on, and you're that sense of reason. Tyson Fury returns to the ring this April. We have now found out that Tyson is coming back, ladies and gentlemen, and he will take on Arslanbek Makhmudov, the giant who took care of Big Dave Allen recently. Will he take care of Tyson Fury? On that, though, Spencer, is the sport of boxing richer for having Fury back in the fold?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that Tyson Fury's been a big character over the last 10 years or so, and I think that he's always good for the sport, for sure. I mean, it's going to be interesting against Makhmudov. It's a tough comeback fight, to be fair. Makhmudov is active. He's very big, very strong, can whack a little bit. So I think perfect opponent for someone like Tyson Fury to see if he still belongs at top level. So, yeah, it's a good fight, and I think that welcome back Tyson Fury. I think he's good for the game, for sure.
Are you excited at the prospect of it, Simon?
Well, Tyson Fury is I mean, I think he's uncouth at times, but I think he's very charismatic. I think when he's on form, he's as big a star as you could want. He's engaging, he's funny. Some of the press conferences he's done in the past have been brilliant. He's been a world-class fighter. He was the one that opened up the division for everybody by beating Klitschko in 2015. He's come back. He's put on fabulous fights against Deontay Wilder. And I think this is a decent fight. I think a 60% Tyson Fury will dance rings around this fella, but I think it's a reasonable tune-up fight for something that may be more meaningful. Whether it's Anthony Joshua, I have my reservations because of the travails and challenges that poor Anthony's had to experience in his life recently. But Tyson Fury being back creates noise, creates temperature.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't think he was going away anyway, and so there's no surprises back. He was always going to come back despite his protestations. And so here he is. And this fella, that we all wrote off, Makhmudov, he was a beast until Ajit Kabiel chopped him down to size. His reputation got slightly damaged as a result of it, lost another fight, won a fight, and then went in against Dave Allen and did a number on Dave Allen. So it's a decent fight, but Tyson Fury, if he's anything vaguely resembling the Tyson Fury that we know, will deal with him comprehensively, I suspect.
Certainly, Makhmudov has won 21 of his 23 fights, and as you say, beat Dave Allen last time out. As Simon alluded to there, Spencer, if it is a tune-up fight for Fury, who's he tuning up for? Is it AJ?
Well, it was AJ, but obviously with, the tragic circumstances that Anthony Joshua's been through over that Christmas period, losing a couple of his friends, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those families, and condolences to Anthony Joshua as well. But yeah, that puts him out of this space right now. Boxing will be the last thing on his mind, So I think now we look at Tyson Fury versus Fabio Wardley. I think that's the route he takes. That's the fight that can be made. Frank Warren has these heavyweights under his stable. And, I think for Fury, it'll be the walnut fight. Is he back at that level? Can he deal with that level? And then we see him in against Fabio Wardley. And that possibly comes sometime in the summer.
I'd be having some of that, Simon. Would you not?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fabio
go in there.
Fabio gets paid that way, I suspect. I mean, ultimately, the Queensberry situation will be slightly different from the circumstances that surround the fight now with Makhmudov. That's a different deal. That's a different circumstance. That's a different situation for Tyson Fury. There's probably not a broadcast obligation for Tyson with Queensberry's preferred broadcasters and contracted broadcasters to zone, hence why it's landed on Netflix. And away it goes. But yes, I mean, I want Fabio Wardley to do well. I want him to see an opportunity for himself, both as a world champion and economically. And in an ideal world, those two can coincide. And I think Fabio cannot be underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
We've now reached a point where Joseph Parker fought entirely the wrong fight, took a fight he didn't need to take, and fought it the wrong way, and got done by Fabio. Fabio was lucky against Justice Hooney. He got away with it, but people will say an equaliser is what it's there for. But here we are now, and I want Fabio to do well. And if the first fight as a defending world champion is against Tyson Fury, it's a difficult one, but it's not beyond. There's actually more risk in this fight for Tyson, because Tyson will think he's got a legacy, and he won't like to be thinking of himself losing to Fabio Wardley.
Yeah, but I think Tyson's also got a mission as well, though, isn't it? And that's to become 3-time world heavyweight champion. And Fabio Wardley is that guy with the target on his back. But you look at Fabio and, you know, how he's come along, you know, with his career, being the underdog in a couple of occasions, come through those tests, and he's still improving all the time. You know, the momentum is still very much with him. And it could be a changing of the guard, you know, from this old era of Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. They're all getting on now. And you've got this new crop of fighters that are coming through. And Fabio Wardley is that guy. So now that is a very interesting fight, and a great fight for both guys.
So before Wardley, it's Makhmudov, and Tyson Fury returns to fight, as I say, Arslanbek Makhmudov on the 11th of April, so it's not that far away. Here's the thing, though, just in the passing, UK fight fans, have you missed Tyson Fury? Are you glad to see him back? Will you be glad to see him back in the ring and fighting again in this country? You might want to give us a call on that 03717 223344 810 89. There is a backstory to this, so Spencer, is there not, Simon? This fight on the 11th of April will be broadcast on Netflix, so it's all changed. Turki Al Sheikh has said that this is the second fight between Netflix and the ring. It's only the beginning. Wait for the big surprise soon. So, in terms of the broadcasters, could Netflix become the home of boxing? We remember when Turki Al Sheikh joined us on this show just last year. He explained how he wanted to change the pay-per-view landscape.
I prefer to have 1 million subscribe and pay-per-view with 20 pounds.
Than 500,000 with 40. I agree.
Or less than 500,000. Now with technology and a lot of things in the social media, the people go around it illegally, some people, because the price is high. And this is, in the future, will not build the boxing. If I give the customers good fight with good price, I will increase the fans base. And in the future, we will go step by step.
Well, of course, it begs the question, what did Frank Warren think of that? Of course, Frank Warren, who promotes Tyson Fury. And, of course, Frank with DAZN. Frank was on talkSPORT yesterday, and he was asked about Fury's return and this Netflix deal.
Well, Tyson has made it very clear late last year that he wanted to come back and fight. He wanted to fight in the spring, and there's a lot of work going on with people at Ring, and that's where it's at. He's now fighting on April the 11th against Makhmudov, which is a good comeback fight. You know, he's a good fighter. He's got a good record, and it'd be a great fight for Tyson to try and get the cobwebs out of his system.
First UK fight to be on Netflix. The Netflix situation is interesting because I think there's deals with DAZN that happen as well with you. How did Netflix come about to broadcast this fight?
That's sort of out of my hands as such. Nothing to do with me. That deal was done with the actual ring people.
That was Frank, basically. I'm not too sure about that. What came over to you there from that?
Listen, I think it's very simple. In the same way that Anthony Joshua fought Daniel Dubois and stepped outside of the potential broadcasting relationships that Matchroom had, because he was contracted to Matchroom, Tyson Fury does that with Queensberry. If Tyson Fury wants to fight for a world title against Fabio Wardley, then they will fight on the broadcaster that Queensberry are contracted to provide a stable of fighters towards. So if you look at Queensberry or Matchroom, they'll have a stable of fighters, they'll have a preferred broadcast deal, and all those fighters will be obligated to fight on that broadcaster. Tyson Fury isn't obligated to fight on that broadcaster. Makhmudov probably doesn't have a broadcast deal. So the Ring magazine and Turkey Al-Sheikh have decided to pony up a bunch of money for a fight that probably doesn't make the economic sense in terms of the scale that the fighter will want to take the fight. There's no broadcast obligations. It means nothing. Queensberry probably will still get their stipe from Tyson Fury in terms of the contracted relationship they've got with Tyson Fury because they represent him. And it just simply means that Netflix get an opportunity to broadcast some content.
No, but it also means that the way I see it is that Turkey Al-Sheikh has come along in this instance and said, Frank, we're taking Tyson. We're delighted he's coming back. We're going to do that fight. We being Ring Magazine and Netflix. Mm-hmm. Now, that might be news to you, but that's the platform it's going on.
Yeah, we had this conversation a couple of months ago, didn't we, about how involved Netflix would become. It was a huge success with Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, and the Tyson Fury fight before that, and we know that they've done at home with the Furies, and it has been big. It has been a big success. Will they get more involved in boxing? Was Turkey Al-Sheikh hinting at more of his shows being on a more regular basis, going on to Netflix, and maybe it's a changing of the tide? Is he planning on moving away from his own? I mean, it's an interesting
It's
time.
not the start of Turkey coming along and saying to the promoters, thanks for what you've done, I'm going to turn your lights out now.
Well, there's an element of potentially that, but also the market has changed dramatically. They're not paying the same amount of money for certain fighters. There's certain fighters like there's certain footballers like Messi and Ronaldo that get a different exceptional set of circumstances. Not every fighter is going to be Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez or whichever superstar you think that is currently the top of the tree. So in this instance, if you understand the commercial relationships between the broadcasters, so basically Turkey Al-Sheikh will have to turn off DAZN and he'll have to turn off other broadcasters because it's the broadcasters that fund the transaction.
Right.
So with that in mind, if he's going to do that, what's the purpose of that then? So that all the boxing will be on Netflix and you'll pay for a subscription model on Netflix and they'll be the beneficiaries of it. The more broadcasters that are showing boxing, the more competitive edge there is, the better it is for the boxing landscape. And in this instance, if Tyson Fury is an exception and isn't contracted to Queensberry on their broadcast roster, then who cares if he fights on Netflix?
Well, if Turkey Al-Sheikh...
Let Turkey pay the money for it.
If Turkey Al-Sheikh has invested in DAZN, which we know he has, and he owns a part of that now, and he was trying to build that... He's trying to build that broadcast, then surely a fight like this, you would want on that broadcast to build the brand. So why would you
if you say
keep
surely,
going over to Netflix?
Well, it begs the question, who really promotes Tyson now?
No, it doesn't. If you understand the...
Is it Frank or is it His Excellency?
It's a very simple equation. If Frank Warren's deal with Queensberry and Eddie Hearn's deal with Matchroom is contracted to broadcasters, if Tyson Fury were contracted in that arrangement to be obligated to fight on DAZN, then he would be fighting on DAZN. But he's not. So in that instance, whereas Fabio Woodley, if Tyson Fury wants to fight Fabio Woodley, then there's a distinct possibility it'll have to be on DAZN because Fabio Woodley is the incumbent champion and he's contractually likely to be obligated to fight on DAZN.
Yeah, but you can see what's coming around the corner, Spencer, can't we? This is the same Turkey Al-Sheikh who's bringing us Zuffa boxing.
And so I suppose the question is...
So why have the Saudis then pulled their horns in and stopped this bidding war and this ridiculous overpayment of fighters then? Why are fighters sitting around not having fights now? I'll tell you why, because the fighters themselves have been inflated in their value of the marketplace. The marketplace has gone again now. The Saudis are not pumping cash in like they once before, and these are exceptional items. Tyson Fury making a comeback fight, and Tyson Fury being who he is an exceptional item. He is not de rigueur for the boxing world, so there will still be massive opportunities for Queensberry. It might be difficult, but so what? There will still be massive opportunities for Matchroom that are very serious business, and there'll still be opportunities for Zuffa, which is TKO, Dana White, and Turkey.
But if Tyson Fury has done this deal with Turkey Al-Sheikh and Netflix to be able to go his next fight on that, what is the long-term deal with Frank Warren? What is his relationship still with Frank Warren?
I just told you. If he's contractually obligated to fight under Queensberry's representation, but isn't contractually obligated to fight for their broadcaster.
So Frank is still involved in some capacity?
Well, I would imagine he would be, yeah.
The bottom line is, though, Simon, I'm right in saying that Turkey and Zuffa are now a competitor to Warren and Hearn.
Of course they are. They always have been. Who said they weren't? I was the one that sat
and the Turkey has just get in under the door there and said, we're taking your man, Tyson Fury, and we're putting him on our platform, Netflix.
And Queensberry probably getting paid for it. So they're not ultimately the beneficiaries of it, or Queensberry's well and stump up any money. The bottom line is I sat in a room 18 months ago with Eddie Hearn and said, you're a glorified agent. You will now be, we can do events. I said, they can do events. But we've got the expertise. They'll buy the expertise. But the fact of the matter is, who cares? If the beneficiary is the viewing public, are you suddenly subsequently worried now about Queensberry and Matchroom's finances? We're concerned about the reality of who fights who and when. I don't care who they fight for. And ideally, I'd like to see the Saudis keep on pouring money into boxing and keep on putting events in the UK so that we can all enjoy the spectacle.
The fact of the matter is, Tyson's coming back. UK fight fans, have you missed Tyson Fury? Is the sport of boxing richer for having him back in the fold? Let's find out what UK fight fans really think about the returning Tyson Fury. Have you missed him? Do you welcome him back into the fold with open arms? We now know he's going to fight Arslanbek Makhmudov in April. Tyson Fury, do you welcome him back with open arms? Rick, who's a Man United fan and no doubt a boxing fan, what do you think? Good afternoon, Rick.
Afternoon, fellas. How you doing?
Good, thank you. What about Tyson coming back?
Yeah, couldn't really care less, to be perfectly honest with you, Jim. I'd even go as far as to say I'm a little bit frustrated at it.
Frustrated? Why?
Well, he thinks we care. Don't get me wrong, I love Tyson Fury. I love what he did, but what are we at now? The fourth, fifth time of him coming back out of retirement? It's borderline delusion what he's doing. He thinks that we care enough this much to keep, right, you've retired, he doesn't care about fighting anymore, he's done what he needs to do, and then 2 minutes later it's, fighting's what I love to do. And I feel like the boxing community is also kind of coming around to that same opinion as well. Everyone's losing patience with him because he just contradicts himself every 2 minutes. And I'd like to know your opinion on this, Jim, just a quick side note on it. I've never known an alcoholic, as he claims to be, go be on the brink of, suicide, God bless him, if that was the case, and then be able to go back and have a healthy relationship with alcohol. I'm not sure. It just, there's just a lot of contradictions.
I'm none too sure about what Tyson thinks in those personal areas of his life, but Rick, strong views there that he couldn't care less if Fury comes back because we've heard it before.
Yeah, very strong views, isn't it? Because I think that, yeah, all right, people do get bored of Tyson Fury retiring, coming back, but love it or hate it, he's good for the sport. He's a big character, and he's been a big character over the last 10 years. He still has a lot to offer. Last fight back in December against Alexander Usyk, December 2024, you look at that, there was not a lot in the fight. Yeah, he lost the fight, and Usyk won the fight, but he showed that he's still very much at the top. Take Alexander Usyk out of the equation, Tyson Fury, you put him in with anyone. So, of course, we want him in there now because he's a big name for the last 10 years. We've got the new names like Moses Atauma coming through, Fabio Wardley coming through, and surely it's a passing of the baton, and we need to see the old fighting, the new coming through to build their profile. Okay. So I think it's healthy for the sport.
Leeds and boxing fan Dan. Good afternoon to you, Dan. Are you having him back?
Afternoon, guys. It's not often I'll say this, but I agree with the Man United fan who just called in before. To be honest, I think this is a joke now. How many times out of retirement? And like your man's just said, you've got to look at young'uns who are coming up. They've got to have the time and that. And my question is, what's he going for? I mean, Usyk's got the belts. Who's going to beat him next? He's done it twice. He's failed. But my question is, Jake Paul's waiting. When you're going to fight him? he's crazy.
Dan, here's Simon.
Absolutely crazy.
What do you make of that? I mean, there's indifference from some quarters.
There might well be. I mean, he is a riddle wrapped up in a rhyme, isn't he? But he will fill stadiums. And all this indifference, all this ambivalence, all this... he's entitled to do the dance of the seven veils if he wants to. He can retire, not retire, do what he wants if he wants. If people don't want to watch him, then they'll vote with their feet. Yeah. But they won't. They'll watch him, and he will grace the boxing world as he's done once before. If we can watch that BS that masqueraded as a fight with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., then we can watch Tyson Fury back in the ring because he is a legitimate champion. He was a legitimate outlier in the heavyweight division that created a landscape. He was the best in his class until someone else came along and took that mantra. He won't fight Moses Atoma, so there won't be a passing of the baton between the new and the old because he won't go anywhere near Moses Atoma. But he might go a little dance with Fabio Wardley and he might get himself a WBO strap if he's good enough to beat Wardley.
Yeah, but that is the passing of the baton from the young to the old, isn't it? Or from the old to the young.
31 years of age, isn't he?
No, Fabio. Yeah, but Fabio's just coming through. He's not 31. I believe he's 30. But anyway, he's coming through them. Yeah, but he's at that stage, isn't he? He didn't have an extensive amateur career. Yeah, and I think exactly. But look, you got to say that it's a great fight. And Tyson Fury, the reasons for him coming back and why he's wanting to come back is because he wants to become a three-time world heavyweight champion. And when you're talking about age, 30, 31, what I'm saying is he's a young 30. He's not been around too long. He's still very fresh, and it is the young versus the old.
Well, what's changed from Tyson Fury standing in front of a camera saying it's a young man's game? I don't want to do this anymore. It's a young man's game. What's changed is no one's talking about Tyson Fury, and he has to be part of it. Whenever there's an opportunity for someone else to be spoken about, Tyson pops up and puts his ugly mug in front of the camera. And also, there's commercial opportunities for him. So whether it's because he's driven, you think everyone's driven by things. You think Usyk is driven to fill out Deontay Wilder because he's got to create a legacy for him. I don't think that's the case. I think Usyk is driven by the opportunity to see if he can monetize the last vestiges.
I would agree.
Do you think he has the capability of winning a world title against Tyson Fury?
Yeah, if
that's why he's coming back.
If he's 60 or 70% of himself, yeah, I think he can. But that's also incredibly disrespectful of me to suggest that 70% of Tyson Fury just beats Fabio Wardley. Because I think Fabio Wardley gives anybody a handful. And I would love to see Fabio Wardley put Tyson Fury on his arse.
Yeah, just off the back of that other caller there, whatever anybody thinks or what their views are of Tyson in the past or in his personal side of life, that's up to them. But no doubt Tyson Fury was and is an inspiration to many. You never really know what you get with Simon Jordan on this show. I have to say, one moment he's got both shoes and both socks off and he's applying Elastoplast to his blistered feet. The next moment he comes in moments ago and says to Spencer Oliver and myself live, I'll be leaving in the next 10 minutes as I have a flight to catch. No one has told Simon, or it seems to have disappeared from his view, that he's actually or should be on till 1 o'clock. But you are going in the next commercial break, are you?
I am. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's just a shame you can't be with us until the end of the show.
I can only take so much of the boxing hour with you.
Yeah.
Myself and Spencer cringe sometimes, don't we, Spencer? That's some of the things that comes out of Jim's mouth.
Right.
And 45 minutes is my saturation point.
He's at breaking point.
I'll leave you with the last 15.
All right. If you see Simon on that flight to Benidorm, tell him that Spencer and I are asking very kindly for him. World title fights with British interests over the next week. This might interest you, Simon, just before you leave us. Josh Kelly goes in against the Russian Kaliakram Mutazaliev, and we'll be speaking to Josh's trainer Adam Booth very shortly. But next weekend, Liverpool hosts their own as WBA World Featherweight Champion Nick Ball defends his belt against the former two-weight world champion Brandon Figueroa. I'm delighted to say that Nick Ball joins us live on the show this lunchtime. Nick, good afternoon. How are preparations going, mate?
All good, yeah, ready to go. Just it's a waiting game now. Just yeah, looking forward to next week, but all ready to go, yeah.
Yep, another big night for you, Nick, and Figueroa's a tough guy, isn't he? Another tough campaigner, 5'8", comes forward, high output as well. You don't choose easy opponents, mate, and yeah, it's another exciting fight.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm always in, exciting fights. That's what you can guarantee when you're watching me, so it's going to be another good one, especially in Liverpool City, so I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
What do you think of your opponent on this occasion, Nick?
He's good, isn't he? You don't become a two-weight world champion by being average, so he's a good opponent, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's only had the 2 losses, and that was to Stephen Fulton, who's a two-weight world champion himself, a good fighter. So, yeah, look, he comes forward, switch hitter, very, very high output, but that's your style as well, Nick, isn't it? I think that what fans get with you, you know, which we love about you as well, is you meet fire with fire, and one thing we can guarantee on the 7th of Feb up there in Liverpool is fireworks and an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be a special night in the city. He comes to fight, I come to fight, so, you know, it's going to be a good one to watch for everyone watching.
Nick, better watch. He goes carefully though on this one, Simon. I would think Figueroa, 19 knockouts in 26 outings. So this guy can bang, can he?
Yeah, but Nick Ball's the champion of the world for very good reasons. And look at the opponents that he's beaten to get there. You know, look at the opponents he's beaten in terms of Ray Ford. Look at the opponents he beat in terms of Ray Vargas that he won and should have had that belt as well. So I think the fella that he's fighting should be more worried about what Nick Ball's going to do to him than the other way around. When are we going to see you start picking up the other straps? What's happening with the other champions in your weight class, Espinoza and Leo? Any chance of getting fights with these guys and start picking up some other straps, Nick?
Yeah, don't really know, to be honest. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, obviously I've got this one to get done first, get the job done here, but they're the fights that I want to be involved in, making the unifications happen. I don't know why they're not happening, but they should happen sooner rather than later, hopefully. But yeah.
You've had a few defences. You've had a few defences now, Nick, and it will be time. I'm sure Frank Warren will want to push you on as well, kick you on. Naoya Inoue is obviously that guy that everyone talks about in that smaller weight division, and that's the dream fight for you, obviously, down the road. But unifications must come first before you capture fights like that. Is that in your sights, like someone like Naoya Inoue, who is possibly pound for pound the best fighter in the world today?
Yeah, he's not in my sights, in particular, not him, no. Just getting the other belt, being in the big fight, yeah. What people want to see, which is that fight, to be honest, yeah. So it's been spoke about that much for it not to happen. It'd be a shame, but not looking past anyone. My career's not relying on him. Do you get me? If he moves up, then the fight will get made, I believe. But he's got to move up first.
Are you getting the Nick? I know this might not matter to you so much, but it's a conversation piece. Are you getting the attention and the recognition and the plaudits that you should be getting for your achievements? Because I noticed that Jeff Pyle wrote an article in the Mail about fighters and their current level of fighters and described your achievements as nothing more than brawling. I'm not suggesting that you've read that article, but I thought that was a bit disrespectful. So the question is, do you think you're getting the currency, the opportunities, the recognition that you should be getting for the achievements that you've had so far?
Don't really know, to be honest. I don't really look into it that much.
No.
I haven't seen that, what you've just said, but maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I just tend to focus on what's in front of me and making the people around me proud and the people that I started with. As long as we're doing our job, all the other opinions don't matter to me.
Well said.
I don't really care
Well
for
said.
it.
Why should you, Nick? And briefly and finally, what are you going to bring then to this fight when you shape up against Brandon Figueroa? What will we see from you?
Depends on the night. Yeah, I can do a lot of things. I can do a lot of things. I've got options how I can win the fight, but one thing that's guaranteed with me and in Liverpool City is action. So it's going to be all action. Yeah.
Nick, we wish you well, mate. Nick Ball goes in against Brandon Figueroa. And that is at the beginning of next month, next weekend in Liverpool. And we wish Nick well. Simon, you touched on something there. The article you're referring to when you spoke about does Nick get the credit he deserves? And he was mentioned in that article by Mail writer Jeff Powell. But Jeff is suggesting in general, I don't know if you read it, Spencer, it's a good read, is the boxing landscape heading into something of a lull right now? Amongst other things, he says, Usyk is looking for a US promoter to stage a battle of hugely contrasting styles in Vegas or Los Angeles against Deontay Wilder, assuming the American doesn't slip up in his bizarre run-out against Chisora in London on April the 4th. And then he says, Turki Al-Sheikh has been pressing Usyk to fight either Fabio Wardley or Moses Itoma. Neither would excite the paying public overseas, at least not yet.
Yeah, I sort of disagree with it, if I'm honest. I think the boxing's in a very healthy space. I think that we, are now getting the fights that we've always craved to see. Politics have been taken away from the sport. We're seeing the best fighting the best. You can't say that boxing now is not as good as it was, back in the day, for sure.
Spencer, is he not right here? He says, when Wardley can be a world champion, dear old Chisora still ranks 6 by 2 of the governing bodies, and Lawrence Okolie is a leading contender with one of them. What does that say for heavyweight boxing?
I think it says a damn sight more than it said during the period of time that Vladimir Klitschko was presiding over the division, which was a snore fest. It probably says a lot about times gone past when you've got Muhammad Ali, Kenny Norton, George Foreman and people of that iconic nature,
right,
and maybe the Tyson era.
Right.
This is the same Jeff Powell that wrote an article saying that the future of British boxing and heavyweight boxing and world boxing was Daniel Dubois was going to dominate his division. Forget Tyson, forget Fury, forget AJ. Well, he's won a world title, but he hasn't dominated. So I think it's a negative nitpicking article that actually doesn't really reflect what's going on in boxing at all.
Yeah, I totally agree with Simon. And, you're talking about that era of Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton and all those guys. Yeah, they were great. And, yeah, they did all box each other. But look at the records and the names that they boxed in between that as well. Some of them were tomato cans. So you can't just say that you're picking on these guys now. I think that we have got a great crop of heavyweights that we've had for the last 10 years, and we've got an unbelievable crop of heavyweights coming through. The amateur scene is looking great as well. So I think
what was unbelievable, and he's right in saying this, where are the Haglers, Durans, Hearns, Chavez, Mayweathers, Pacquiao's, Sugar Ray Robinsons, even Leonard of today? Where are they?
Let's go for the divisions then. Let's have a look at the division. You've got Shakur Stevenson fighting Teofimo Lopez in an elite fight. We've seen Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez in an elite fight. We're seeing some of the best fights around for a very long period of time. You can go through every division.
What about the heavyweight division?
Well, what's he talking about then? Ajit Kabiel just went over to Germany and set the place on fire with fans.
And Tyson
What's
Fury,
it, the American market.
and Tyson Fury versus
we led the show today with Tyson Fury coming back, Spencer, and you heard what two of us, a whole selection of callers thought.
Yeah, well, hold on a minute. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. That trilogy was unbelievable. Whatever people say about that, those 3 fights, they had a little bit of everything in them. The guys showed a lot of character, a lot of charisma.
Time ago.
Huh?
That was some time ago.
Yeah, I know, but you're talking, it's still modern times, isn't it? Jeff Bowers comparing it. So now we've got this new crop coming through. Moses Atauma could go down as an all-time great. You know, you've got to let the kid develop. He's only 20 years of age. You know, you got Leo Atang coming through. Another young kid was a world under-19 champion, and, you know, he's 3-0 at the moment, won all of those inside distance. So we don't know what the future brings, but what I do know is the crop that is coming through at the moment is very, very good. So I think that Jeff's sort of nitpicking a little bit there.
Just an update on Simon trying to get a flight. I understand he can't get a lift on the 17th floor, which is really funny, and he stands to miss the flight. Spencer is still with me, and we're sniggering like little boys behind Simon's back. We will finish the day how we started, talking boxing. We spoke about Tyson Fury. We'll get to that. But another big fight on the horizon, Spencer, and I'm delighted to say the trainer of the fighter involved, Josh Kelly, Adam Booth, is about to join us live, because on the 31st of this month, Josh Kelly in Newcastle will look to become world champion in a headline bout against IBF super welterweight title holder, the Russian with a desperately difficult name to pronounce, Kelly Akram Murtazayev. And as I said, Josh Kelly's trainer joins us live. Adam Booth is with us. Adam, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Now that I've got that fella's name pronounced and out of the way. How is your fighter, Josh? How's he feeling about this one?
Very confident. Knows the job that he's got to do, and he knows the danger that this fella poses, but he's absolutely adamant that he knows he's got the skill set to deal with him.
So, Adam, how's final preparations gone? I've seen online Josh Kelly seems very relaxed, mate. Going into a fight of this magnitude, I've seen that he's been doing some stuff with the crowds and pull-ups and all that sort of stuff, trying to give tickets away and whatnot. It's it's a great approach to the final few days of a fight of this magnitude.
He's ready, 12 weeks of training with absolutely no hiccups, which is very rare. No injuries, no illnesses, touch wood. And we now got 2 days to go, and he's carrying the confidence of someone that's been through the dark days, come out the other side, and is matured in every way.
Yeah, Matazeliev's a tough guy, 23-0, 17 KOs. Very, very big hitter, and had a great win last time out against Tim Zhu, knocking him out in 3 rounds. You've obviously got a game plan. You've been working on sort of stuff. We know Josh Kelly's that guy that's very elusive, moves around a lot, but ultimately, at some point, he's going to get drawn into a fight, and you've obviously prepared for that.
You'll see. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get drawn into a fight. It's skills in this sport. It's the art, and Josh knows that this is a fight where he's got to use all of his attributes.
Yeah, I think Matazaliev, though, he reminds me of a smaller version of a Beterbiev type guy, where he comes forward a lot. He has a high output. He's got acceptably long arms as well. And you do get drawn into those fights. So what I'm saying, the game plan will be, I understand that. Josh is brilliant on the outside, throws shots from angles, and by the way, can whack. I've still got a bad arm from when I come down and visited you in the gym. He was hitting me with those left hooks, but that was because you give me the small pads as well. Stitched me up a little bit. That's another story.
You deserved it.
But stitched me up a little bit, another story. But yeah, what I'm saying is, you will have actually prepared for that if that situation arises and he does that, he's going to have to bite down and he's going to have to show a lot of character.
Yeah, like I said, he knows that he's going to potentially have to use every element of his game, and he's prepared to do it. He knows that this is his time. He's in his prime. He's healthy. He's in great condition, and just full of confidence. Full well, you can have the best training in the world, but if you don't have that belief and that confidence in yourself when the bell rings, it all means nothing. And Josh does. We know that Murtazaliev doesn't get fazed by anything. It's not a matter of confidence for this fella. He just has that implacable attitude. But styles make fights, characters make competition. And I think this is a brilliant clash, and it's about who's better at what they do.
Adam, I can imagine what it would mean to Josh Kelly to become a world champion. You've been around the fight game for a while, and you've been alongside some big names and world champions in the sport. What would it mean to you to be involved with another world champ?
As much as anything, I'm only still in this sport as a coach to reach the highest level, and here we are Saturday. I'm only interested in world championships and world champions. Once you've had the fortunate career of achieving success at that level, it's the only thing that you're really interested in. And it's been 9 years working with Josh now, so this will be as sweet and as satisfying as any of them.
Do you welcome the return of Tyson Fury? Does boxing need someone like Fury returning, Adam?
Of course they do. The sport doesn't just need good fighters; it needs big characters, because big characters bring the interest in the eyes to the sport. Tyson Fury was the one that broke up the heavyweight championship so that everyone could have a shot at it, and since then he's been the leading name in world boxing. And so of course boxing will always need Tyson Fury and a Tyson Fury.
At this stage of his game, Adam, do you believe that he can still become world champion?
Yeah. I watched little clips of him. I think he's training in Thailand in a couple of places, and the one thing I've noticed is that his legs look very, very well. His balance and movement looks very good, and I think that's the basis of his style.
So finally, let's finish with your man. Let's finish on Josh Kelly. What are we going to see from him when he steps in the ring and looks to go all the way against this pretty dangerous Russian?
The plan is that you're going to see a talented English fighter with an immense challenge in front of him, raising his game and rising to that challenge.
Brilliant. Adam, thank you so much for joining us as always. Adam Booth, top trainer, and in this instance, trainer of Josh Kelly, who goes in at the weekend in Newcastle looking to become a world champion. Spencer Oliver, I thank you.
I thank you too. And I'm not very comfortable sitting in this chair still. Do you know that, with Simon and his feet? And
yeah, I know. I can imagine.
It's been a traumatic day for me.
If I can just paint the picture, Spencer is sitting amongst tea bags and elastoplast at his feet now that Simon has gone.
Madison Square Garden, January 31st.
He's coming to win. I'm coming to win. So let's make that happen. He's from Brick City. I'm from the concrete jungle.
Madison Square Garden is when those paths finally meet.